Welcome to COSC 1436. This is spring 2023 class, and my name is Jeanette Serrano-Correa, and I'm really excited to be able to teach all of you online. The video that you're about to see is going to cover the syllabus and the structure of the class. So it's going to be a short video and like an orientation, so you know what to expect. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can share Canvas with you. So what you see here is a student view of the course. So right now I have it as student view, and the navigation menu here are the different links that you have available for this class. If for some reason you don't see this navigation menu, then click on these three little lines right here, and they will appear. So if they disappear, then somehow you clicked on there, okay? So we start with home, which always has the recent announcements, and it has a button that gets you started right away. And this button just takes you to this modules link right here. So that button and this link are the same. I will post announcements weekly. I'll send reminders when assignments are due. And if I make any changes to the course schedule, the due dates, I'll make sure to send you an announcement. Announcements are sent. You can get an email notification about announcements if you set that in your notifications. So make sure that you allow announcement notifications to be sent to your email right away, so you know that if there's a change or a reminder. Course syllabus, I'll click this on in a second. It will not show with my student view, so I'll need to change my view. And this is the book, the link for the book that we'll be using. So once you purchase the book and you link it to the class, you'll have the book available for you, to you. The modules is where you'll need to be for everything that you need for the class. So all the assignments, exercises, quizzes, tests, everything is going to be on here. So we'll go over this in detail in just a second. You have the grade book, where you'll be able to see your grades and any feedback for your assignments. And then honor log, which is used when you take your final exam. And we'll talk about that later in the semester when it's that time. So I'm going to go to the course syllabus. So to be able to go to the course syllabus, I'm going to stop my student view and go to the syllabus. So this is what you're going to see for your syllabus. I want you to take some time to read all of this on your own. I'm just going to go over some parts that are important to you to make sure that you succeed in the class, okay? So you have my contact information. If you want to get a hold of me, you can send me an email. We can set up a Zoom meeting if you have questions. And again, my name is Jeanette Serrano-Correa. Serrano-Correa are my two last names. And this is the book that we're using, Rebel for Guided C++. And as far as supplies are concerned, we don't need any special software. You can use a application online. I will give you some suggestions if you do want to download some applications that are a little bit more complex, but you can just use a very simple online compiler. As far as technology requirements, I'll be using Zoom if you want to meet, but you're not required to meet with me or meet at any certain time for the class. Course policies, attendance policies. So you're just responsible to make sure you log in to Canvas, that you check the announcements, and that you follow the course schedule. So this is not a self-paced class. There are due dates and there are late points if things are not submitted on time. And there are quizzes that will close on a certain date. And if that quiz is not taken by that date, then you're not able to go back and take the quiz. Here's what you're graded on for the semester. Okay. So this is the important part that I really want to go over with, make sure that you understand. You have chapter exercises. So for almost all the chapters, except chapter 1, you'll have a chapter exercise. This exercise takes you through, all the chapters will have chapter exercises. And it takes you, it's step by step. It tells you exactly what to do. You don't have to solve any problems. You're just typing in some code and following the steps in the PDF assignment. You will submit something and you'll just get checked off if it was done correctly or if it wasn't. Okay, so it's a very simple assignment. The discussion activities, these are discussion boards. They're graded anywhere from 5 to 10 points, and it's just to reinforce the skills that you learned in that chapter or chapters. There are due dates for the discussions. There are points taken off if you submit past the due date. So it's going to be 1 point deduction from the total score for each day past the due date. And I will stop taking late points off once it's at half credit. So if it's really super late, you can get half credit, and then I start grading from that point forward. The book, it's an ebook, and as you read each chapter, there's some small checkpoints, and it'll have a true/false question or a multiple choice question. And so also it has some small quizzes. So those checkpoints and really small quizzes, maybe 3 or 4 questions, they count as this reading activity. And this reading activity is just did you read and do the checkpoints? Yes, and you get the points for it. When let's say that it has a question, it's true, false, and you click on true, immediately tells you no, it's a false answer, it's incorrect, and you get to, check on it again. If you have multiple choices, it tells you it's incorrect, and then you get to choose again. So it's not counting against you if you get something wrong. It's just to make sure that you've comprehended what you read. So did you understand what you read? And if you didn't, then go back and let's see if we can touch on this again, and you can get a better understanding of what you're reading. These review questions are starting with chapter 2, and the review questions are just a certain number of questions, and you type in the answer, and then I'll check that and give you credit for the review questions. Then the assignments, these are actually the programming assignments. This is where you actually get to solve a problem that's given to you. You get to create a C++ program. You submit either the .cpp file, which is a source file, it has the code, or you submit a text file, and it lets you know exactly what formats you're able to submit. Okay, so those are the programming assignments, and those weigh a little bit more. They weigh 20% of your grade, and they range from 5 to 30 points per assignment, depending on the difficulty. These do have a due date, and if it's not turned in by the due date, it's 1 point off per day late. And these points will stop at half credit unless you've talked to me about it and we've agreed differently. It'll stop at half credit. The review questions that are in your book, these review questions that are online also have late point deduction, so they have a specific due date. Then these quizzes are different than the little quizzes that are here in your reading. These quizzes actually are quizzes that will go through and check your understanding for the entire chapter. There's typically 10 questions to these. You have 15 minutes to take the quiz, so you don't have all day to look up the answers. You have to make sure you're ready. There are true, false questions, multiple choice questions, and you can have open book, open notes. So one thing that I suggest is that as you're reading the chapter, so right here when you're reading, and you have those checkpoints and you have those small quizzes as you're reading, go ahead and take notes. If you miss something with the checkpoints or those quizzes, which are not going to count against you if you miss them, it's just to check if you do it or not, then take notes on what you missed so that you don't miss it again on the quiz, because it might be on the quiz that actually counts for 20% of your grade. Also, each chapter, I'm going to have a lecture, a video that you can watch for each chapter. You'll have a PowerPoint presentation that you can print that follows the lecture. You can take notes on that. So having those notes with you will be helpful as you take your quizzes. The quizzes have a specific due date and they close on that due date. So if you submit it past the due date, I'm sorry, you just can't submit it past the due date because they close. So make sure that you take it, maybe take it early, just in case something happens. So I wouldn't leave it for last. And then you have one exam, the final exam, which is comprehensive, and it's 20% of your grade. It's going to be like the quizzes. So the questions will look a lot like the quizzes. And I will have a practice final that you can take. This is going to be a mix of true and false questions and multiple choice questions, but you can only take the exam one time. Unlike the quizzes you can take them twice, but the grades will average. So let's say that you make a 90 the first time, 90%, the second time you make 100%, then your average would be 95% that you make on a quiz. On the final exam, you could only take it one time. And in the final exam, you won't be able to use your book and your notes. It'll be closed book, closed notes, close friends. Okay. One thing that I want to make sure that you understand is that even though this is online, and even if it was on campus, when you're working on your assignments, this is not something that and when I say assignments, it's your programming assignments. When you're working on those, this is something that you do on your own. And so you're doing it independently, and you're not getting somebody, you're not working together as a group or as a team on a solution. So your solutions have to be your own unique solutions. And the way that I try to make students understand this is like when you're writing a research paper, if I'm an English instructor and I read the same paper twice, the exact same paper, or something very similar, then I know that the student has copied. Same thing with these programs. When I look at programs, I can easily, because I've looked at them for so long, I can easily tell if I've seen the same solution. Solutions are very unique. Everybody has a different way of thinking, of solving problems, and problems can be solved many different ways. So make sure that it's your solution, your own way of solving this problem. Some other students have also gone outside of done searches on the internet and found solutions to problems and copied those. And so again, I can tell if it's a copied solution from the internet because of the way that it's coded. It'll have things that we haven't even covered in this book, or it'll be a mix of C and C++. And then I know that the student didn't do their work. Or I have 3 students with the same solution that was copied from the internet, from some website. So make sure it's unique to you. You will get a 0 on the assignment, and we'll have to discuss if you do copy somebody's work or work with somebody on an assignment. Okay, so please don't do that. I don't want to have to set up a meeting to talk to you and then with the possibility of failing the entire course because you copied a solution. If you have questions, just talk to me and I can help you with your programming assignments. Okay. Quizzes, same thing. Please work on your own on your quizzes. And but definitely if you know somebody taking the class and you're going through and you maybe want to find a support group, you guys can read the book together. You can go through the chapter exercises together and work on those. Separate computers, separate solutions, don't submit the same file. You can do your reading activities together and watch the videos together. So that could be a way that you find some support as you work through an online class. This is the course calendar. So notice your very first assignment or your first assignments are due on January the 22nd. So let me take a look at I don't have that open. So all assignments are to be turned in before 10 p.m. on the due date. And so not 11, not 12. So after 10 p.m., it does count 1 day late. And so everything's due by 10 p.m. or you get 1 point off per day late. The only thing here that's not going to get a point off per day late is the readings, the things that the activities from the book. So the activities on the book are not done on time. They don't get a point off, but I mean, it doesn't make sense for you not to read and do that before you watch a lecture or you complete an assignment. So don't leave that out. These are the chapters that you're going to be working on. We have week 1, chapter 1, and then we're going to go all the way to chapter 9, and we're skipping chapter 8. Okay, so we're not covering chapter 8. We'll go all the way to chapter 9. So in this class, we're going to cover Introduction to Computers and Programming. If you've taken a Introduction to Computers class or another programming class, then you've heard some of the information in chapter 1. Chapter 2 introduces you to C++ and how to create your first program. Then we're chapter 3 is going to talk all about expressions and interactivity. Chapter 4, making decisions. That's going to be your if-else statements, loops and files, then functions, arrays, and pointers. Okay, here on the right-hand side, you can go through and skip to different areas of your syllabus. But this is all I'm going to cover on the syllabus, so you can read the other sections on your own. I'm going to go back to student view so you can, it looks kind of like your view on your Canvas. And so that was the syllabus. This is the book. I'm going to go ahead and open the book. When I open it, it's going to look different than what you're going to see because this is the instructor view. But, oh, you know what? I need to do this on, I need to get out of student view. Okay, so I'm going to open the book. I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. You're not going to go through all these steps. This is just because it's my view. Okay, so I'm going to go to chapter 1. And let's say that I'm here in this section 1.1 and I'm reading section 1.1. I've gone through, I've read it. Here's a checkpoint. This checkpoint is how you get your check, like you've read this section. So we go through, if I click on this and I click submit, it's going to tell me, oh, I didn't even read the question and it was right. Why can computers do such a wide variety of things? Because they can be programmed. Okay, let's go to a different question. And let's get the next one wrong. Let's see. Okay, here's another checkpoint. Internally, the CPU consists of what, 2 units? Okay, so I'm going to click this one and it's going to say that I'm incorrect. And then all I have to do is say, okay, well, let's see, maybe the 2 units are main memory, secondary memory, or control unit. Okay, let's pick this one. Oh, I did it right. Awesome. So maybe I forgot about this. I don't know what this means. I don't know what the control unit and the arithmetic and logic unit are. So maybe I take notes and keep that in the back of my mind. Then I need to go back and review that. So you keep doing your checkpoints. And that's how you get your check that you've read this chapter. Notice here, each chapter has sections. The sections have checkpoints, and then you have this small quiz. The quiz is it's worth 4 points, and it has 4 questions. And you can take it again if you miss the question. So it's not like it's going to count against you. Just retake the question if you miss it. So this is the book. And to see that you've actually gotten credit for this, you can see it in the grade book through Canvas because it's linked to the book. And you should also be able to see it here under grades. But it's linked to the Canvas grade book. So you'll be able to see that you've received credit for each chapter reading. Okay, the modules. This is where you spend most of your time, either in the book or here in the modules. The first part is course information before we get to chapter 1. So let's look at that right now. Under course information, we have information and instructions for students. If you need Canvas help, like how to use this system, this learning management system called Canvas, you can click there. Collin College student resources. So just some information about your system requirements, etc. Institutional policies. So the withdrawal policy, you have to withdraw by the withdrawal date. I can't withdraw you from the class. Accessibility statement, if you do have some, let's look on here. All the words have left me. If you have a letter that allows you to have like extended time, or like extended time on exams or assignments, or there's any kind of need that you're given because of some kind of learning difference, then please let me know and send that to me through email. And you can do that at the beginning of, right now, at the beginning of the course. Accommodations, that's the word I was trying to think. Oh my goodness, my brain. So if you have some kind of accommodation, please send that in and let me have it, and take full use of your accommodation, okay? Because if you have an accommodation, it's something that will help you work and be at the same playing field, right, as everybody else. So don't be afraid to use those accommodations if you have them. Going back to institutional policies, student code of conduct, very important for you to read that, and the exam procedures, which we'll talk about later when we get closer to your final exam. Course details. We went through a lot of the course details. This here has a small introduction about me, and so you can take a look at that. And this here is a link to the syllabus, which we've already gone over. We talked about the daily activities. Okay, so all the assignments are due on Sunday night by 10 p.m. But make sure you get started early, because if you have questions, so, maybe get started on Wednesday. If you have questions, then you'll be able to ask me. Don't wait till the last minute, because then I won't be able to help you. So you can ask me on Thursday or Friday, and I'll be able to get back to you. So try to start your assignments by Thursday. I say Wednesday, so you can get help if needed. And we do have a programming tutor, or you can ask me, and I'll find out more information about the tutor and how you can get access to the tutor. So I don't have that on hand right now. If you're not sure how to use Canvas, there's a Canvas orientation that you can take, which I already sent you information about. And then this is just information about this navigation that you have here on the left-hand side that looks just a tiny bit different for you than for me. So going back to modules, as far as the compiler that you'll use, we're going to use web-based on an online compiler, and it's called CPP Shell. This is the easiest way to get started, because you don't have to install anything or get to try to figure out how to use a downloadable application for the compiler. But let's say that you are taking other programming classes, and you're more than welcome to use the other compiler that you're using for your other classes. Or if you'd like to learn more about Xcode, if you're a Mac user, this is a link to download Xcode. There's lots of videos on YouTube. Just type in, let's say you download Xcode, you can type in how to create my first program with Xcode, and it shows you how to use it. And then there's Xcode is just for Mac users, and you have Eclipse. So this one you can use with Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. And there's lots of other options, but these are just two options that I've used before and thought they were pretty easy to use, but nothing easier than CPP Shell. And that's the one that you'll see in the exercises that I refer to in the exercises. Okay, this is chapter 1, which we will start in the next video. If you have any questions about the course, please make sure you send me an email. The very last thing that I wanted to say, and I should have said at the beginning, I think I'll say it at in the next chapter, is that this is a, if you look at the class syllabus, this is a 4-credit hour class, and it's a 3-lecture, 3-lab class. So typically, if you were in an on-campus class, you would be meeting 3 hours for lecture and 3 hours for lab. So you would be in a class 6 hours a week. Okay, so I want you to think of 6 hours a week. I'm writing 6 hours a week on my notebook. That's the amount of time that you would spend listening to your instructor teaching you something, going through and working on your exercises and your labs. And then you might have some homework to take home. So 6 hours plus whatever you need, whatever you don't get done in those 6 hours with the teacher. So as you work through and you watch the videos and you do the assignments, don't get frustrated because it's taking a lot of time. It is a 6-hour class. It is 6 hours of your life per week, plus whatever you would do outside, like studying, reviewing your notes, etc., etc. So just wanted to mention that. Make sure that you have that in the back of your mind as you take this course. Right, I'll see you as we begin chapter 1.